Why am I walking so slow? Oh, okay. I like
You're
that.
crouching again.
This is a nice place.
There you go.
Oh, I'm not facing the right way though.
Are you in seated play?
Ah, that's better. Yeah, is everyone here?
Okay, head count. There's a Whippet. There's Robo.
Hi, Whippet.
There's Qualifeed. There's Red
I
Raven.
don't know how to work my fingers.
And there's me. And then now the teenage shy girl.
Marcellus, I can't
guy.
see you.
Oh, it's the stump's bigger than me.
Yeah, the dimensions of these.
And I can't really stand on the campfire, can I?
No, you could, maybe. Oh, you're in it.
Hi, Whippet.
You gotta put your hands up and go, ah!
Nice undies. Hello. I'm melting.
You should come out and be on fire for a little bit of time.
Yeah, I can't.
So, this is the way you have to implement something like this, right? You have to have you have to have every country donate 5% of their landmass towards it. That's the answer. And slowly it becomes part of that system. And you know what? Eventually, like any country, they don't have to join it. But if they don't, they will slowly be left behind. You know, they won't get benefits.
It's kind of like natural selection.
Yeah, the problem is trading with one country, one part that's joined part of it and another part that's not part of it. Trading with them is really hard, you know. But having said that, you could put that under the banner of getting a reward. I mean, you don't even have to get money from the other place. If you do something like, I don't know, you cut down some trees or whatever in a forest that is made for cutting, you cut down the trees and you give them to a country that's not part of the system, then you get rewarded for helping someone.
Well, it's like you don't get anything from that country, but
No.
you get an award.
Something-
you get rewarded
you
from
get
your
leveled
own
up.
country.
Yeah, and then someone buys you a house.
From the
Not
system,
buys you a house.
not the country.
Yeah, so you level up in your country because you gave some resources to another, and you provided people with something, and now you get something, and then they get something, you know, and that doctor goes to buy a car, and, you know.
Yeah,
And you can't give money to your children. Like, they can stay with you in your house and whatnot, but, you know, anyone you want can. But you can't give them money when you die. All the stuff when you die just gets put back into the system. You know, like someone else drives your car. It gets used to... It goes to a car yard, and it just sits at a car yard until it sells. It doesn't sell. Someone chooses it when they level up. It all gets reprocessed back into the system.
right, and then and the stuff that's like left behind that nobody wants is just like it gets melted down and put into a new thing.
Yeah. So, like your house, you know, say you die, and instead your house doesn't get sent to your children. That's not, no, they have to climb the ladder like you did, and so wealth is not passable to your children. Only you can pass knowledge and and grow your children to make it themselves. And then, you die and your house gets put on the market, and someone who needs a house for a level up comes along and gets your house.
So there's no wills. There's no jealousy.
No. There's wills for personal items, but for in terms of like, non-producing, non-profit assets like houses and cars and things.
Yeah,
you can pass on some stuff. Personal effects.
There's like stuff like souvenirs, like from baseball games and stuff like that. Recreational
wedding
stuff.
rings.
Yeah. Like a wedding ring or like a symbolic thing, like a baseball. But
and those are categorized.
There's no will
government,
for your entire fortune and your freaking mansion that you like barely worked for to buy.
But having said that, my girlfriend's father died a few years ago, and they've been sorting out this land thing ever since, and it's worth millions, at like $38 million. So I kind of like that one. I mean, I'm not complaining.
I mean,
as soon as they sell it, God.
The thing is, though, if you keep leveling up, you would have more responsibility. Like, some people may not want as much responsibility, like taking care of an entire mansion, because I mean it would create demand for servants, like maids and butlers and stuff like that, like and groundskeepers, but taking care of all of that land.
Well, here's the thing. Remember I told you, I said it spirals upwards and out of control, right? It creates perpetual growth, right? Well, what you have is a system where, because it's growing out of control like that, you'll get to a point where all humans, unemployment is like fucking zero, right? Or basically zero. Human race is operating at maximum capacity, and everyone's fulfilled what they need to. And at that point, people can start like working, getting rewarded more. So now, once you're at that point, you can actually start leveling everybody up faster. Does that make sense? Like, once everyone's working, and everyone's, most people are like level 30 or whatever, and we've produced so much, it just comes down to how fast we can rip minerals out of the ground and build things, right? And at that point, a level 30 can now have a Ferrari instead of a Toyota, because we can rip up enough minerals to make enough Ferraris. Then you can have robots ripping up minerals for us, and at that point, the robot makers are level 100, and everyone else, actually, it gets to the point where you may only have to work a few hours a week, and the rest of the time you're driving around in a Lamborghini, because robots are now doing a lot of it, and there's so much reward available because it's so much capacity we're running at.
That works because people get so afraid of robots taking over human jobs. But the thing is, not the robots. Some jobs robots cannot do.
That's great. If all jobs were done by robots,
as good as humans.
Yeah, but they will be able to at some point.
A few jobs that cannot be done by robots.
Yeah, but people are thinking like it's bad that it's taking their job. But what it's doing is it's creating a world where they can live without working. The only problem is the fact of money. That when it takes their job, they'll have no job, and the guy who owns the company and employs the robots, the guy who makes the robots, sells the robots, he's going to get lots of money, and you, the worker who lost a job, gets no money. But in my system, the robots can do it all. If they can, they can. Great. We'll triple the number of robots, and everyone can relax, and you'll just, a level 15 can, a teenager can get given a fucking Bugatti Veyron. Everyone. Bugatti Veyron for everyone.
You'd have newborns. Newborns have their own like freaking mopeds.
Lap dances. Gluten-free lap dances for everyone.
Heck yeah.
I don't know. I think that the world we are living in a like, can you imagine here, just for example, remember the Dark Ages, right? When people had no idea about telecommunications, they had no idea what the fuck VR could ever, the concept of it would be a dream, maybe. They were living in blackout, right? When the sun went down, it was fucking dark everywhere, except for around the fire.
They were like destroying technology because they didn't understand it.
Yeah,
they were burning books.
Yeah. So you look at that in contrast to today. They had no ability to envision the way the world is today at all, not even close. Steel boxes driven by chemical energy with wheels on them on a road or a track. No idea, right? And maybe there's a world that we have no idea about. And I tell you what, it would start with a system like what I'm talking about. That's how it would start. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. And the thing is, like you said, with the like.
Oh, thank you.
With like teenagers with their own freaking Bugattis, we would have the resources because we have, like, I see in my hometown a junkyard right next to an oil field. That's like got tons of old cars that can be recycled and put back into the...
Yeah, but here's the thing. There's no money to get. There's no money to get from recycling them. And this is the thing. There's no... Like, here, I'm in Thailand right now. And it was worse in Cambodia. Like, Thailand's not so bad, but for a lot of Thailand, there's rubbish on the side of the road, there's broken walls, there's broken streets and cracks and this and that, and everything's like rusted and fucked sometimes, and it's because there's no benefit to getting a new one. Like, imagine my system, right? You go down the street here in Thailand and someone's driving an old truck. It's rusted to fuck. I mean, it's rusted like fuck, and it's old as shit. There's no windows in it sometimes. That's not what Thailand's really like in the city, in Bangkok. In some ways, it's more developed than the West. But in a lot of ways, it's not, right? But in my world, someone would go, oh, that guy needs a new truck. Let's give him a new truck, and we'll get a reward.
Let's custom build this guy a new truck, and then we'll get rewarded with a level up.
Yeah. But you'd have streets right now. The whole streets in the world would be upgraded with solar panel streets that light up at night and give you personal navigation for your car. If there's no other cars around, the street will say, oh, this guy wants to go that way, and it'll tell you which way to go or whatever.
Yeah, like you could put in a location in a GPS, and you could have the street tell you where to go.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably useless. I mean, why not just have it on a HUD? But you get the idea. You'd have a high-tech street with sensors on it and all kinds of stuff, and, street lights that only light up when you go through. And
you'd have, like, streets designated for groups of people who work in the same areas. And you could have that street tell them where to go.
Do you know a big problem, too? Is today we've got a medical system that doesn't reward them for curing people. It rewards them for treating people, not curing them. So they want to give you expensive as fuck treatments. $300 bags of salt water, saline, and then make money by treating you and keeping you sick. Jesus fucking Christ. Some dark age shit, man.
That's the thing with freaking dialysis. It's just
Alright, I'm heading out,
keeping
guys.
people
Take it easy.
alive, but still sick.
Okay, see you, brother.
We have the technology. We just don't use it. Like we have it ready. We have it, and we can definitely mass produce it. We just don't use it. We just don't.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know you can do that.
Yeah, you can take random
Can I
objects,
try?
you can take cups and put them in the fire and they'll explode.
Wow. Hey, Rick. Rick, you want to try that? Oh, can I play this one? Where's it gone?
Actually, you might wanna put that on the stick and then like hold it above the fire, not drop it in the fire because it'll just explode.
Where's the
It'll just disintegrate.
marshmallow?
It'll probably be back on one of the tables. But yeah,
And where's the
this
stick?
system. The system you're talking about is it's foolproof. There's no way
Yeah.
to feed it.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm
I've
pretty
thought
sure
of it and
that
thought of it.
any sane person would go with this system because it's there's no way to there's no feeding it.
What? Why can't I use the marshmallow?
I think you have to put it on that second little thing on the stick. You don't put it on the tip of it. But yeah, it's perfect. I know. Like
I know.
usually say
But when I
stuff like,
tell people, they can't understand it. Why I can't put it on? The second one?
yeah, I think that's it. That's weird.
Ah.
How
Ah.
oh, God.
Ah. But yeah, it is a
Well,
perfect system, eh?
yeah.
I can't fault it.
Like I usually say that perfection doesn't exist because even the concept of perfection is flawed because everyone is different from each other. But this system is perfect.
As it can be.
Well, yeah.
It pretty much is. The military-industrial complex dies. You can't cheat anybody. You can't fuck the environment and get rewarded for it.
Well, essentially, no. Essentially, what the military becomes is like the reserves. They stay. They don't like train for the. They don't train for like hours on end. They just wait. They wait on the base and they do like regular exercises every day and they just keep themselves prepared to take their place in the actual military. But then stuff like security dissolves out of existence because there's no reason to break any laws or to
No,
like
but
infringe
people
on
will
anyone
still
else's
get
security.
angry and drunk and do stuff.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's like
But having said that, I don't think alcohol would be legal. I think that what you'll have is weed would be legal.
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, this is okay. So here's how you figure out what's legal and stuff like that as well. I mean, you have your basic setup is done normally with a chamber of people debating, and that they've earned their right to be there. But what you have is like the democratic system is reformed. So instead of having a 400-year-old system, what we have is something where, because right now you're voting once every 4 years, you're voting so that you can choose between a douche and a turd, right? And then you have no say. Then you have no say after that. Okay. So what about if you had a blockchain system where you vote for people and political parties or whatever on there, and when you vote for them, the maximum power they can hold in the government is like 40%. So at all times, or even 30%. So at all times, the people can overpower the government in terms of voting, right? So what you have is a blockchain system where the same way I can access my Bitcoin, I can access my account and vote on a micro issue, right? And but then the problem with that is that you have uneducated people voting for something, okay? Which is half the problem at the beginning anyway. But what you can have is so say 60% of the power is shared out to the people, and the people have to go through training at school on how to be a functioning political member of society. And if you don't pass on those courses, you don't get to vote, right? But if you at any time you can redo those courses and redo them until you have an understanding of economy, a basic understanding of economy, and a basic understanding of things. And then they can supplement that with TV shows and things. And so you don't get rewarded for making shit reality TV shows, right? You would get rewarded for making useful TV shows that educate people on current issues and current affairs from multiple angles, debates. And then people, like at any time within a week, people can go to their computer, log into their account, which is all like secure, like blockchain, and then they can vote on an issue and have it become, whatever. So out of 300 million people, you'd have made perhaps 100 million qualified to vote, and they do 60% of all the power in the government. And the other 40% is kind of like, and the representatives that we have more power than the individual. So say there's like 400 members of Congress or whatever, and they are able to cast a vote that's worth the equivalent of 400 votes each, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like they represent roughly a community of 400 people. So they have some power, but ultimately if the people say no, then the government can't do anything about it. They have to comply.
Basically the people become the president, and
it's decentralized government.
The people become the president, and the president becomes the people.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. Yeah, and what happens is that the government then has to they're just an administrative department. They do what the people have wanted. Yeah. They just carry out their orders as per the results on this week's micro election. Do we legalize cannabis or not? And like if it's yes to what level, and then you just say what level you want it legalized to and whatnot, and the conditions, and you vote on the conditions, and it's all in like a 10 tick box questionnaire, and it all gets put into the blockchain and spits out the answer, and they have to do it. So then the micro details is what the government has to do. You see? The micro detail, they're like, okay, well, if we have to do that, then we have to also do this. And so, okay, we'll do it this way. And that's the government to decide. They're to decide how to do it, but we would tell them what to do.
Right. So it would be like a rating of like 1 to 10, like, and each rating has its own specific like explanation as to what that rating is supposed to be. Then you could essentially have a perfect like political system.
Yeah.
Where the majority tells the government what to do, and it just works.
Yeah. And if it's wrong and people are unhappy, they can... Here's the thing. With the blockchain technology, you can set up your own voting issue. And if you get enough followers signing your petition, then it becomes a ballot is cast for your subject, your issue, right? So the issues themselves are coming from the people, you know. And then you can have the same thing on a regional level. Like, say, there needs people boy races going up and down one particular street in the community. Somebody can set up a vote to have something done on that street, and then if they get enough people sign on to it and go, you know, who are from that area, and then it gets approved. And only, you know, you can use the same system on a regional council level too. So then you get speed humps put on that street so that boy racers can't make too much noise. See what I mean?
Right. It'd be like the kind of government that Rick Sanchez would create. It would be a perfect
it is.
government.
Yeah. The Citadel of Ricks. The Citadel of Ricks. Oh, yeah.
Except that the Citadel of Ricks, like, pretty much has all
was
power
bad.
over the Ricks. The Ricks
Yeah, that's kind of bad.
power over the Citadel.
Yeah, it's the other way around. But seriously, compared to the future we could have as humans and the world we could have, you are still living in the Dark Ages. You still are. You're still there. We haven't really left it. We've only got halfway.
Because
it's fucking sad,
profitable.
man. Yeah. But and you know, the thing is, we needed capitalism and whatnot to bring us this far. We needed the government system to bring us this far, but now, and it was useful, but now we're ready for the next step. The same way we needed religion to take us into larger groups for hunting and whatnot, and now religion is redundant. You know, it's got no position really in terms of evolutionary development. And now we're done with the capitalism thing. We need to move into another system that doesn't use money. I mean, what's the plan? What's the plan? Are we going to fucking build starships that travel around the galaxy at fucking multiples of light speed on a gravity drive and have an economy that's somehow linked to the Earth? Even when once you travel 1 billion light years that way, in actual fact, time is slowed down for you so much that the people back home are 500,000 years in the future from where they were when you left. You can't have any kind of joining economy and shit. You've got to have a military-style rank system of, you know? But without the dictator at the top, you use blockchain voting.
So basically, it's just like no one is above anyone else.
Oh, they are when they level up. Like, I'll go to a nice shop and buy nice stuff, and you can't buy it because you just level lower, and, you know, it's okay because you go to school, you've got the opportunity to level up if you want to.
But I mean, the way it works now is like, if you're a higher, like, if you're in the upper class, you feel like you're above everybody else, and the thing is, they don't have the opportunities.
You are, but for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's it. You are above them, but you're above them for the wrong reasons. Like, you may have just been born into a wealthy family, and you don't have to do anything, you know? But whereas in this system, you may have been born into a level 100 family, but when your parents die, it's gone. You've got to prepare something yourself.
Yeah, like you have to be able to work. That's it. Like I'd say if you want to prevent like say other countries don't accept it, and if